Hey everybody, it's Brian Cook with Networking Dojo, and I'm here with my good friend Casey Eberhart. We're going to interview him because we think it's so important that you as a viewer understand what top producers do, what their day-to-day life is like. And we're going to really introduce you to what a real person Casey is, which I don't know if I'm really sure about, but we're going to
find out.
We're going to find out, and this is kind of off the cuff, so we just don't know what's going to happen. I got to say, Casey, it's an honor to interview you. I mean, I know.
Why are you sitting there with a smirk on your face already?
I don't know.
Because he already knows that this is going to go. Yeah. This may go. The wheels may fall off of this. We'll give you that one.
Yeah, it's raw. I'm telling you that right now. This is going to be raw. We haven't done it. But I have to say, it's an honor to interview you. I know you're following. You have loyal followers. People treat you like a rock star. Now, that's funny, but
yeah, exactly.
But you have a great following, and you are an amazing speaker that can really work a room and give. What I like about you is that you give people something they can walk out of a room with and put into action right away. It's not, you don't talk to them and say, do this, do this. You give them real good nuggets. So let's just start out with your story. What's your story?
Yeah, well, first, Brian, I can't tell you how excited I am to both be here with you and Clint, be a part of the Networking Dojo group, and all of you that are watching. First off, I just want to acknowledge you. I know there are 8 million things you could be doing, including playing Gagaville on Facebook, and the fact that you're watching this indicates to me that at least you're somebody that's looking forward to taking your business to the next notch or the next level. So first off, thank you guys for having me. My story is actually one, I've been an entrepreneur my whole life, and I'll try to summarize this as much as I can. But when I was 5 years old, my grandfather, who's a huge entrepreneur out in Colorado, I remember very distinctly where my business career started, and that was one day when I was in first grade, 5, 6 years old. My grandfather put me on the back of a tractor, and we drove on his tractor out through his antique shop. He had an antique store in his garage. Then we drove by his Model A and Model T restoration shop, which is old cars from the 20s. And then we drove through his farmland into one of his pastures where he raised about 100,000 head of cattle and had oil wells and gas wells and water wells on this land. So he had kind of his whole portfolio right there. And he took me out and he drove me and he said, hey, here's the deal. I'm going to give you your first business lesson. And that lesson is this. If you can give the customer more than they ever expect, you'll never have a want for business. You'll never have a want for money or customers or clients. And I'm like 5 years old. I'm like, okay, let me drive the tractor. Mm-hmm. You know. And so he said, well, we're going to go practice this because I see in you what I am, which is an entrepreneur. And I'm like, onto what? And so we drove back to the antique store, and from there, he made me ring up these two little ladies that had driven by and stopped and bought these. I don't know if you remember, but back in the 20s, there were these telephone things that they used to stand on top of telephone poles, and they were like green glass things, like transformers or something. I don't remember what they were called. And they bought 2 of them. And I was like, Granddad, you got to ring them up. And he's like, nope, you're a kid. They'll buy more from you, bat your eyelashes, look cute, and, whatever. And so I just kept hearing him say, treat the customer better, treat the customer better, treat the customer better. And, it wasn't treat somebody like I want to be treated. It was treat somebody way better than I wanted to be treated. And so I remember I was a little kid, and I took these things and I wrapped them all up in paper, and I took them out to these 2 ladies' car, and I actually opened up the back seat and I put the bag in the back seat for them. And then I actually took the seat belt and I seat belted the bag in because I didn't want them to shake around and get broken. And they were so taken back that they actually tipped me $20 above and beyond. And I was like, I'm hooked. Because there was a case where I had made like $5 selling them these antiques, but I got $20 because I went so far above and beyond the call of duty. And from there, that took on my whole entrepreneurial spirit. Everything I do is about giving more than I ever expect to receive. So my first business was a garage sale. I came home from that vacation, and my granddad had told me about a garage sale, so I went to our garage and I put the picnic benches up, and I did displays, and I dusted things off, and I put signs around the neighborhood. I opened up the garage doors, and I'm selling stuff. And my whole thing, because remember, in my head, what I had heard was you sell something for $5, but you treat them so much better, they give you $20. So I remember I'm just selling stuff out of the garage sale, and my mom opens the door at about 7 a.m., just as I had sold their chainsaw for $0.25. They had no idea what I was doing. But it's how do you get mad at a kid like that? And so from that point on, I've always had businesses. I did Ivy Stars, where it was Grow It Green Nursery. You know, I was in 6th grade, and I thought I was going to do a catering company. It was Casey's Catering Capers. And from there, I sold candy in my locker. You know, and one of the things that I tell this story about locker in junior high all the time, and that's this, that I used to sell those Tootsie Pops. Remember the Tootsie Pops where it had if you got this proverbial piece of paper that had the Indian on it shooting a star and it's supposed to mean something, which nobody's ever been able to explain what it is. So I would sell all this candy out of my locker. And Mr. McCamey, our vice principal, one day called me down and said, if I catch you selling candy, you're going to stay after and sweep the whole school. And I come from an education family. My mom's a principal of high schools, and she designs them. And so all these teachers and stuff were friends of mine. I grew up with them. It was very weird calling them Mr. or Mrs. blah, 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 because they're all friends. And teachers party harder than any group. Don't let anybody tell you differently. And he said, hey, look, you're going to sweep the school after school if you get caught selling this stuff again. And I said, so let me understand this, Mr. McCamey. If I sell candy and there are wrappers on the floor, I'm going to have to stay after school and sweep the floor. He said, yes. I said, got it. And just then the lunch bell rang, and I walked right outside. I remembered I stood up on one of the cafeteria tables, and I screamed at the top of my lungs that today was half price off, throw your wrapper on the floor day. And I stayed after school from that point forward every day and swept the school. And I made $50 to $60 a day selling candy. I figured I could sweep the school in about 45 minutes, listen to, Karma Chameleon on my Walkman, on the tape with a little tape. And that's how I made my money throughout junior high. And so from there, it was a series of entrepreneurial. So I ran a water park. I was a general manager out at a water park in Seattle. Came down to California after that to work in the movie business. We won an Oscar for a movie I worked on in 97, called Being John Malkovich.
I'm sure they've heard of it.
Yeah, started a little movie called Being John Malkovich, and I started an equipment rental company. From there, I ran a bunch of businesses, and then sold an equipment rental company, bought a sweatshop. I like to say it was a perspiration salon, simply because I'm in marketing, but we made 6,000 pair of women's pants a day that you would never let anybody you know wear because they were hideous. And from there, I kind of got into network marketing because I was looking for something new to do, and the evolution has just kind of continued to now I'm a speaker trainer in both not only network marketing and direct sales, but also traditional business, small business, and quite frankly, big business, and teaching people how to sort of network and navigate the social media waters, and that's where we are today.
That's a great story, and just, for the people that are watching, what we're doing, we're playing 21 Questions with Casey, and I think it's important that you watch how he tells his story. I mean, it's very passionate. It is who he is, and there's people got to know your story, so there's a lesson in your story. What I want to know next is, what captivates you? What draws you away? I can get sucked into YouTube for hours, and so what's something that just grabs you and just, you're just involved in it?
It's funny because I'm just kind of getting into the YouTube thing, and I can certainly see how you can get sucked down the rabbit hole on YouTube. I'm fascinated by Facebook, and I'm also fascinated by stuff that I don't know anything about. So right now, my current fascination is just the internet in general. I can remember back in high school, the concept of the internet was not in existence. I was in high school when the stock market crash of 1987 happened, October 5th. And I had been investing in the stock market by that point for years. And I remember having to go down at lunch on a payphone in the lunchroom listening to a recording of what stock was going down. And so taking that forward, where I have little nephews now, 14 and 10, that can tear apart a computer and an iPad and put it back together, and I barely know any of that. So my fascination, what I can get sucked down the rabbit hole with, is I love tools. I love anything that I think is going to help assist a business owner generate a better result than what they're already getting. And so people think I'm a total geek because I get sucked down the rabbit hole of here's a new Twitter program, or here's a new Facebook program, or here's a new LinkedIn deal. And that's really what cranks me at the moment.
Well, you're a learner.
Yeah.
You like to learn. I mean, I think that's important that you're always out there learning. This question I'm excited to hear you answer is what, you said network marketing. You can talk about network marketing or speaking or whatever. What is something that people are doing that just pisses you off? I mean, that just makes you want to pull your hair out.
And what I love about this is, so you guys understand that this is totally off the cuff. I actually asked not to see the questions ahead of time. So, just keep that in mind with this. One of the things that really just chaps my ass, to be honest with you, is when I watch people not understand the difference of relationship building, networking, and marketing itself. And so, right now, as we're shooting this, Facebook is like the number one global website. It's changing the face of the Middle East, to be quite honest with you. And so what drives me absolutely apeshit is when I see people that go on Facebook in an environment called social media, the first word being social, and they feel it's just a place to market. And by market, it's just link here, go visit this, go buy my stuff, and it's almost like they're hiding behind a computer screen, so terrified or afraid of really using it with what it's designed for, which is to be social and interact on a social level.
Yeah, absolutely.
It just drives me crazy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it gives me chill bumps down my spine just thinking about some of the people, they've got a can as their face. It's called Facebook.
I say that all the time. I mean, I do trainings all the time, and I say, look, I have some rules for me personally in Facebook, and maybe we'll get into those later, but one of them is, if you have a picture of your dog as a profile pic, unless it is Humane Society Day, I'm out.
Yeah, you're out.
I'm out.
You're fired.
You're fired. You're unfriended. I have too many people that are looking to connect with me and really interested in who I am to hide behind a dog, or a can of energy drink, or, a branded logo of their company. It's not called Brand Book. It's not called Infusion Can Book. It's not called it's called Facebook. Woo!
There we go. Well, I'm going to feed off that a little bit more. What is something in your industry that needs to be said, but nobody says it?
Well, I think that we've just lost, somehow I think with all that we have going on today with video cameras, and we're over here in a studio and we were just talking about with the photographer about technology and things going back and forth, and the technology is compressing so fast in terms of, when you and I went to high school, we didn't have cell phones. Now my 5-year-old nephew has a cell phone that he can pretty much, set off a nuclear bomb with.
Right.
Meanwhile, I can't even figure out how to turn my iPhone off.
Right.
Right? And so I think what we've really lost is the connection, the human interaction. And even though Facebook is huge and Twitter is huge and LinkedIn is huge, it's that we've lost the art of communicating. We've lost the art of networking. And by networking, I don't just mean, hey, Brian, what can I get from you so I can sell? How do I get to sell you my product in the shortest amount of time possible?
Right.
And so I think that's what drives me the most crazy, and where we need to, as a group or as a public or as a process, really get back to is, how do we have that connection between you and I, between Brian and I? And how do I look to support you in your business, not necessarily just looking from my perspective what I can benefit from it. And I think so much now is people are focused on themselves and how do I sell myself, and they're dialed into the WIIFM, what's in it for me. And the people that can get that there's a mindset in shifting that will make a fortune.
Absolutely. So just kind of, I guess let me ask more around that, and it's kind of the next question. So, and again, let's talk about more of a specific industry. What's the elephant in the room? I mean, you study network marketing companies.
Mm-hmm.
You know comp plans. You know a lot of the owners, a lot of leaders. What needs to be said to these people? That's not that nobody is. The top incomers aren't saying. The presidents aren't saying. What needs to be said? What's that elephant in the room with these companies? If it was said, it might flip that switch.
Well, let's just go back to the last answer. I mean, the profession is called network marketing, right? It's not called ram-a-link down someone's throat marketing.
Right.
It's called network marketing. And again, we are getting so disjointed as a society that the idea of a warm market, or the premise of network marketing is, hey, Brian, you're a good friend of mine. I came up with this really cool thing. Wouldn't it be great if you and I got to work together? And as I view it, when I'm in a recruiting mode or looking to share my opportunity with people, I'm really auditioning people to determine whether or not I want to spend the next 20 years working closely with you. And if we win some trips, we go on a trip and sit in a hammock next to each other. And I really look at it as, I can go out and post a link on the internet. It might pick up a couple of people, but the reality is the relationships, and I think in network marketing we've really lost the relationships. And there are some trainers out there that train on that, but it never seems to be the focus. It always seems to be on the marketing portion of network marketing as opposed to building the network. And so I really focus on teaching people how to build out, advance, and really mature their network of people. And I got to tell you, what's great about that is there are not many people out there talking about networking. There are not many people that are going to go teach somebody how to be referable, right? You and I were talking about this yesterday. It's like, I give good referral, right? I know that if somebody gives me a referral, that person is going to be so well taken care of that the person giving me the referral is going to be blown away. Again, going back to that idea that give somebody way more than they want. You know, and I am a trainer that stays very positive. So, you know, I don't train by, I know that you probably generate more traffic or more views on YouTube by saying stuff bad about companies. It's just not my gig, right? My gig is, look, I get into a lot of arguments with a lot of trainers, a lot of friends of both of ours. I get into arguments with because I'm like, you putting down a company to try to present your company in a better light, when the reality is, statistically speaking, neither of our companies are going to be around in 20 years. Right? So it's really about, in 20 years, what do we have left when it all crumbles apart? It's our friendship.
Right.
And if I beat you over the head with it and haven't really developed a friendship with you, then it doesn't matter. Because now we're just annoyed with each other and we don't talk.
Right, and this is not the 80s where we're trying to sell used cars.
Exactly. It's we have to get to a point where I want to feel comfortable referring you. I want to feel comfortable referring your wife. I want to come over to your house. I want to have you over to my house for dinner and really engage in that stuff rather than just do a presentation for you on a whiteboard somewhere.
Right.
And hope that,
or a napkin.
Yeah, or a napkin.
Yeah, absolutely. That's good. Those are good answers. Let's lighten it up a little bit. I know you're a T-shirt guy. I'm a T-shirt guy. If you could make a T-shirt that describes how you feel or how you think, what would it say?
Proud to be awesome.
Proud to be awesome. That's awesome.
I only know that because I have a T-shirt. The hilarious part, I love the word awesome because I think it's positive, I think it's uplifting, and I actually had a friend of mine give me a T-shirt that says, proud to be awesome. I mean, the other thing I love is I love T-shirts that say, I love pyramids.
Yeah. Because
I just find the whole pyramid conversation hilarious, right? If somebody's asking you if it's a pyramid, chances are you think it's a pyramid.
Yeah. You projected that.
Right, and I'm all about pyramids, but, I just think it's hilarious. So for me, I go, and here's the hilarious part about T-shirts. We're both T-shirts guys. Like, this is totally uncomfortable for me. That's why I'm only wearing underwear just below this, and you guys can't see that. But
I'm not wearing anything.
Yeah, I am wearing flip-flops because he's not wearing anything. But one of the things about the pyramid T-shirt that always cracks me up are people respond two ways when I wear that out in public. They either respond with, "Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. What do you represent?"
Right.
It becomes a recruiting tool for the people that are in on the joke. And then there are other people that are like, "I can't believe you're downplaying our profession." And it's like, lighten it up.
Exactly.
It's a pyramid.
I can probably guess your check.
Yeah, exactly.
That's funny. I've got a T-shirt I just got that made me think of you when I saw it. It's a guy going like this, and it says, "What? I can't hear you over my awesomeness."
Ooh, I like that.
It's good.
I like that.
It's good. I mean, a T-shirt, I love T-shirts. I mean, it's just, it engages so many people with what you got on.